Hi guys, Rishi Sunak has been attending a G20 conference in Indonesia this week, but problems at home were inescapable. Here a member of the press asked the Prime Minister about the economic woes facing the United Kingdom at the moment, and if they were in any way caused by Brexit. The journalist brought up the bombshell that was dropped by the former Environment Secretary and Brexiteer George Eustice, who talked on Monday about the damage being done to British farming by the Australian-UK trade deal. Sunak obviously ignored the B word. Have a listen to this.
The UK's economic woes seem to be particularly acute compared to some of its neighbours and like-minded countries. Do you accept that Brexit in any way is a contributing factor to those issues? And linked to that, the former Environment Secretary George Eustice has said the UK's trade deal with Australia is essentially a dud, we gave far too much away for far too little. Will you be looking to renegotiate that, and how do we avoid that in the future?
Well, I think when you're...
Actually, before he answers, I noticed his body language where he was sort of smiling about this. British farmers are not smiling. British farmers don't think this is a joke.
Thinking about what the UK's economic situation is, I'd point you back to the comments and the statistics that I made in my opening remarks. 2/3 of the global economy, or G20 members, seeing inflation rates above 7% at the moment. The IMF thinks 1/3 of the global economy either is or will be in recession. That is the global context. That's what's dominated the conversations that I've been having here. And we know why that is. It's the legacy of COVID, and it's, of course, what Putin is doing that is driving up energy and indeed food prices. And if you talk to some of my colleagues from Africa and what they're grappling with, they're very cognizant of that. So that's the global economic context, and I think that is what's dominating what's happening. Every country is going to have idiosyncratic things, but those are the overwhelming dominating factors that are leading to the economic challenge that we're facing.
It's quite pathetic, isn't it? It's one thing to lie to the public in Britain, but he's trying to lie here to the international press. And, the public outside Britain understand this is because of Brexit. The UK is in a worse position because of Brexit. You can't escape that. Yes, there is the global aspect which is creating a lot of problems for countries around the world. The pandemic, the war in Ukraine, food prices, energy prices. Yes, but are there any other countries, maybe with the exception of North Korea, that has imposed sanctions upon itself?
At the moment. Now, with regard to Australia, look, every trade deal has, there's give and take on both sides. What I say to people about the Australia trade deal, it's going to make it easier for young Brits and Australians to go and work and visit each other's countries, which is...
How does that help British farmers? It was trumpeted as this wonderful deal for British farmers, and now you're talking about teenagers and young people being able to go to Australia and spend more time there. Yes, that was mentioned as an afterthought when it came to how this trade deal was presented. Yes, you'll be able to travel easier to Australia. But what about young people who want to travel to France or to Germany or to Italy or to Spain and spend some time there working or living? You've made it more difficult for them. It's not impossible, but it's more difficult.
Positive thing. It's going to reduce the prices of Australian goods in the UK, and it's also going to support over 3 million British jobs which are engaged in exporting to Australia. But what I've said on trade...
This is going to increase UK GDP by 0.02% over a period of time. It's not per year. It's over a period of maybe 5 or 10 years. This doesn't really help the UK economy. And the fact that he said, well, it will reduce imports of Australian products. Well, what Australian products? Well, we're talking mainly about beef here, which is going to decimate the UK farming industry. Because you're going to be allowing in, and the Tories and Brexiteers have said, no, we're not going to allow imported hormone-treated beef and stuff like this. Yes, they will. Okay. They've lied how many times already? Of course, they're lying about this as well. This isn't the exception where they're telling the truth. No, they're lying about this as well. And the UK can't compete. You have farms in Australia which are the size of counties in Britain. UK farmers can't compete with that. The environmental standards are lower. The animal welfare standards are lower. The UK farmers can't compete with that. And we've already heard Brexiteers say, well, if the farmers can't compete, they should get into some other industry.
Trade deals more generally is that my approach will be one where we don't sacrifice quality for speed. I want to take the time to get trade deals right, make sure that they work for the UK.
And now you've decided, now you've listened to me, is it? Because I was saying this for a long time. If you want a good deal, you need to spend time and effort. Maybe Rishi Sunak was listening to my recordings, watching my videos, and I'm joking. But I've been saying, how long have I been saying that? If you want a good trade deal, you need to invest time and effort. And now he's saying, yeah, well, we can't have quick and dirty trade deals. It's a bit late for that. And while he was in Indonesia, there was no mention of a trade deal with the United States. That seems to be dead in the water. So what is he actually going to do? What trade deals is he going to present that are going to undo the damage of Brexit? Because remember, that was one of the arguments for leaving the EU. We'll sign these better trade deals. It'll be better for the economy. It will create jobs. It will boost the exchequer. And we'll be able to replace the trade we lose with the EU with other countries around the world. And that hasn't happened. Now, if he's going to say we're going to invest time and resources in the next trade deals, well, that's good to hear. But, you know, we've heard these Brexiteers before. We've heard these Tories before. I don't think anything is really going to change here. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.